The United States House of Representatives, a place of debate, of compromise, a place where the nation's most pressing issues are supposed to be addressed with wisdom and foresight, of finding common ground for the good of the nation, where elected officials work together to create laws that benefit all citizens. Or at least, that's how it's supposed to be. In reality, the picture is often far more complex and contentious. Recently, it's felt more like a battleground, a place where ideological wars are waged, and the spirit of cooperation is often lost. On one side, Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, a man determined to stand his ground, a leader facing down what he calls extreme MAGA Republicans, a faction he believes is steering the country in a dangerous direction. Jeffries has issued a warning, a stark message to those he sees as a threat to democracy. He threatens to expose the actions of this faction within the Republican Party, actions he claims are undermining the very fabric of the nation, actions he believes could cripple the country. His accusations are serious. They suggest a deep and troubling divide within the government. They paint a picture of a party willing to put ideology above the needs of the American people, a party that prioritizes power over progress. At the heart of the conflict, the very real threat of a government shutdown, a shutdown that could have devastating effects on millions of Americans. Jeffries argues that these extreme Republicans are playing a dangerous game, a game with high stakes and potentially dire consequences. They're using the threat of a shutdown to force their agenda, an agenda that benefits the few, not the many. The situation is tense. The stakes are high. The future of the country hangs in the balance. The decisions made in these hallowed halls will shape the destiny of the nation for generations to come. Central to Jeffries' accusations is something called Project 2025. This project, shrouded in controversy, has become a focal point of intense political debate. This, he claims, is the true goal of these extreme MAGA Republicans. It's a radical plan, one that aims to reshape the very fabric of our nation, one that seeks to dismantle the government as we know it, fundamentally altering the role of federal institutions. Project 2025, Jeffries warns, is a blueprint for cuts. Deep cuts that would affect every aspect of American life. Cuts that would gut essential services and leave millions of Americans vulnerable, struggling to meet their basic needs. He points to proposed cuts to the Department of Defense which could have far-reaching consequences. Cuts that could weaken our national security, leaving us exposed to new threats. He highlights proposed cuts to veterans' health care, a move that would neglect those who have sacrificed for our country. Cuts that would betray those who served our country, breaking the promises made to our veterans. And perhaps most alarmingly, he warns of cuts to Social Security, a lifeline for many seniors. Cuts that could push seniors into poverty, stripping them of their dignity in their golden years. These cuts, Jeffries argues, are not about fiscal responsibility. They're about ideology, driven by a desire to reshape society. It's about dismantling the social safety net and enacting a radical agenda that prioritizes the few over the many. An agenda that has no place in a country that claims to value fairness and opportunity for all. Jeffries' warning is clear. Project 2025 is a threat to the American way of life. This ideological battle is playing out in very personal ways. Take the case of Representative Al Green. Green, a Democrat, has been a vocal critic of certain Republican policies. For this, he has faced retaliation. Jeffries has been steadfast in his defense of Green. He sees the attacks on Green as an attack on democracy itself. He has not minced words in his condemnation of those who seek to silence dissenting voices. One such target of Jeffries' criticism is Representative Andy Ogles. Jeffries has called Ogles a fraud, accusing him of being complicit in the attempts to silence Green. The clash between Jeffries and Ogles is a microcosm of the larger battle playing out in the House. It's a battle between two visions of America, two visions of what this country stands for. The stakes from healthcare to democracy. The ramifications of this ideological battle extend far beyond the halls of Congress, affecting every corner of American life. They will be felt in the everyday lives of Americans from coast to coast, impacting families, communities, and individuals alike. One of the most contentious issues is healthcare, a topic that has sparked heated debates and passionate protests. Republicans have proposed deep cuts to Medicaid, a program that provides essential healthcare services to millions of Americans, including the elderly, disabled, and low-income families. Jeffries has been a vocal opponent of these cuts, standing up for those who rely on Medicaid for their health and well-being. He argues that they would have a devastating impact on the most vulnerable among us, leaving many without access to necessary medical care. The debate over Medicaid is about more than just healthcare. It's a reflection of our values and priorities as a nation. It's about what kind of society we want to be, and how we choose to care for one another. Do we want to be a society that cares for its most vulnerable citizens, ensuring that everyone has access to basic needs? Or do we want to be a society that turns its back on those in need, prioritizing other interests over human welfare? The answer to that question will determine the future of this country, shaping the legacy we leave for generations to come. The fight continues. The situation in the House of Representatives is fluid. The outcome of these battles is uncertain. But one thing is clear. Hakeem Jeffries will not back down. He will continue to fight for what he believes in. He will continue to speak truth to power. And he will continue to defend the interests of the American people. The fight for the soul of America is being waged right now. It's a fight for our values, for our future, for our very democracy. We must all pay attention. We must all make our voices heard. The stakes are too high to remain silent. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay intrigued, and see you in the next one.